Marlon Speaks Live. Welcome back to another one. Tell the truth here. Don't care if it make them uncomfortable. It ain't our fault. Yo, it's Marlon Speaks Live. Yeah, I'm saying what they hide. History uncensored, let the real survive. Yeah, it's truth over comfort, I don't pick no side. If it shake the room a little, let the truth collide. Cause it's Marlon Speaks Live. No script, no disguise. I don't sell no lies, just to monetize. Cause the past still breathing and it never dies. Yeah, it's Marlon Speaks Live. Now the truth will rise. Yo, it's Marlon Speaks Live. Yeah, I'm saying what they hide. History uncensored, let the real survive. Welcome back. Another episode of Marlon Speaks Live, baby. I'm just chilling, relaxing in my robe. And I got another reaction to one of my favorite channels. And that would be the African Diaspora channel with Phil Scott at the helm. He got a lot of other hosts on there, and I love all those other hosts. But I ain't gonna lie, I pretty much focus in on his content, but a lot of the ladies that's on his channel, I like them too. I like them, but I ain't gonna lie, I'm more focused on when I see a man made in God's image, I relate to, so it's always good to hear Phil's perspective on things, because I 99% agree with a lot of things he say, and so yeah, man, we gotta tap in with Phil, let Phil give his perspective on this, and then I'm gonna come back after Phil drop his jewels on this, and then add to it, add my little 2 cents to what Phil, because he pretty much say 98% of it. So dope. So yeah, man, let Phil talk, and then I'll chime in. All right, thank y'all.
For what he didn't do. But anyway, so tonight we got to talk about the EEOC chair, Andrea Lucas. Why are we talking about Miss Lucas here tonight? Miss Lucas posts one of them old sleazy type of lawyer videos that we used to see when people would take medication trying to get you to sign up for a lawsuit. Well, she did that toward white men, of all people, to do that toward. So we're going to go ahead on and talk about that tonight. Brazil trip. Those of you who would like to go with us to Brazil, October 30th through November the 8th, 2026. It is definitely early to jump on it now. ASAP, get your deposit in before all the other people would do that. We will be going with Maximum Impact Travel again. They facilitated our trip last time to Ethiopia, and shout out to all the people that went with us to Ethiopia. Hold on a second. Give me a second. There was something I was gonna say. I forgot to post the link there in the chat. Give me a second. Let me go post the link in the chat. I forgot to do that earlier, and also I'll be posting that link in the pinned comment, ladies and gentlemen. After the stream. So let me go ahead and post this in the live chat just in case you want to jump in on it or get on it. It'll be a 10-day trip. Make sure you come with us. And like I said, we do these trips for you. That's what we do it for. So sometimes you want to travel the world, and this time it'd be Brazil. Brazil was the country that had more slaves than any other country on this side of the hemisphere. When we was free, they were still enslaved. So they went through slavery a little bit longer than we did out there in Brazil. So we'll go out there and connect with those brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen. Also, thank you for downloading the AD&C app, African Diaspora News Channel app. You can get that in the Google Play and Apple App Store. We say, hey, at least if 10 people could join us to stream, that'd be great. At least monthly, right? $9.99 a month. That's like supporting us 31 cents a day. All right, I'm just jumping in here, and we are looking at this. I know we did a community tab post also about Soraya the songstress. She has her debut single next week, 12/26. That's on a Friday, and it'll be also debuting on her YouTube channel. YouTube channel is already created. We just haven't released the music yet there. So make sure you subscribe to Soraya the songstress by 12/26. The music gonna start every Friday. on that channel. Original music, nothing, no covers or none of that. All original music. All right. So let's go ahead and get back to this and get started, ladies and gentlemen. I know y'all know you're busy, and I don't want to take too much more of your time. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get to this video. This video is interesting. I will say this, and I say, oh, I gotta talk about this, y'all. So they always want to be the victim, right? They want to be the victimizer and the victim at the same time. It's a weird, extremely weird dynamic, that culture. But let's go ahead on and watch the video from the EEOC real quick. And
they want to be the victimizer and the victim at the same time. That's so real. Like, they want to start a fire, and then they want to be the one who was in the fire. They want to be the person that they want to be all three. They want to start the fire, they want to be the victim in the fire, and they want to be the person that put the fire out. Right? So they want to be the hero as well. All three. That's what we dealing with. We dealing with the devil in the flesh. Their spirit is the devil, not the people, but that spirit that they represent. White supremacy, that is the devil. And the people that subscribe to it are in the flesh.
And let's hear it in real time, so you won't think I'm making it up or I'm joking around. This is like Twitter trolls, ex-trolls have gotten into the government. So let's go ahead and go.
I'm Andrea Lucas, chair of the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. Are you a white male who's experienced discrimination at work based on your race or sex? You may have a claim to recover money under federal civil rights laws. Contact the EEOC as soon as possible. Time limits are typically strict for filing a claim. The EEOC is the federal agency charged with enforcing federal anti-discrimination law against businesses and other private sector employers. The EEOC is committed to identifying, attacking, and eliminating all forms of race and sex discrimination, including against white male applicants and employees. Check out eeoc.gov to learn more and read our one-page explainer about DEI-related discrimination.
That was an official disclaimer and promotion for white man reparations. That was an official promotion. They promoting white reparations based on our ancestors, the whole civil rights movement. So yeah, man, this is what all that struggle that our ancestors did. This is what that is. So look, the EEOC enforcement focus has shifted towards prioritizing claims from white men alleging discrimination because diversity exists. Complaints rooted in the loss of exclusivity, not actual exclusion, would be elevated. Y'all understand that? So, exclusivity, that means only white people, right? That's what it's rooted in. They are claiming to be victims because the system isn't just with all white people, right? Structural barriers faced by black people, women, Latinos, disabled workers, etc., would be reframed as neutral or ignored. This flips civil rights logic. Equity is treated as harm. DEI is redefined as bias. Rather than viewing DEI as a corrective response to centuries of exclusion, the EEOC would treat diversity programs as inherently discriminatory. Investigate employers for hiring outside the traditional white male pipeline. discourage targeted outreach, internships, or promotions meant to close racial and gender gaps. The result: equal opportunity in name, unequal outcomes in reality. Historical context is erased. That's exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to erase our ancestors or our recent ancestors' struggle and all of the gains that was made with the civil rights movement. Historical context. Okay, yeah. Civil rights enforcement depends on historical awareness. Preferential treatment to white men will require pretending Jim Crow didn't shape labor markets. Redlining didn't affect generational wealth. Discrimination didn't create unequal starting lines. Without history, disparity is blamed on individuals, not systems. That's exactly what's happening. They're trying to individualize this discrimination. Enforcement selectivity. Aggressive pursuit of cases where white men feel passed over. Minimal action on wage theft, racial harassment, or exclusion affecting marginalized workers. We're seeing that already. A higher bar of proof for discrimination claims for black and brown workers. We're seeing that already. Justice becomes conditional on identity. Civil rights without the rights. The EEOC would use civil rights language, but the substance would change. Fairness equals sameness, not equity. Neutrality equal protection of the status quo. Discrimination equals discomfort felt by formerly dominant groups. That's what it equals, right? This is how institutions can appear lawful while abandoning their moral purpose. Wow. Symbolically, it signals this. The message to society would be clear. The problem was never exclusion. The problem is that others are finally included. That's not equality. That's backlash enforcement. Wow. If the EEOC showed preferential treatment to white men, it wouldn't look like justice being balanced. It would look like civil rights law being used to protect historical advantage, not dismantle it. That's exactly what's going on. And that's why many critics argue this moment isn't about discrimination against white men. It's about resistance to a level playing field. That's exactly what it's about. Yeah, man, that's my take on what that lady just said. But let's continue with this video so we can hear Phil's take on it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go it on as we always do. We're gonna start it over and just stop it in certain places, and let's just have a real conversation. About this. This is from your government. We literally have, the ex-trolls literally in government now. So let's go.
I'm Andrea Lucas, chair of the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. Are you a white male who's experienced discrimination at work?
Now, why haven't we seen a video? Are you a black male experiencing discrimination at work?
Right. Exactly.
Because every black male in this country has experienced systemic discrimination at work. Pay discrimination, discrimination on promotion, racial discrimination. We've experienced it all.
Right.
And yet you don't see them coming out saying that about black males. There's data that back up discrimination in hiring with black males. Before the start of this stream, I wanted to make sure I look it up because I want to have facts. I said, well, maybe they're coming from some sort of fact-based place to say that white males are being discriminated against. And what I knew, they're not being discriminated against. They're not. They say there's isolated incidents where maybe it could be a gender issue, but it's never racial, right? but they are not discriminated against whatsoever in this country. Now, for them, this is what discrimination means for them. They have a supremacist attitude. So when you have a supremacist attitude, you feel you're supposed to have all the jobs. You're supposed to have every position, no matter what that's supposed to be. And if a black person has a position, male or female, then you're taking a job from me because I was supposed to be in your position. A lot of you.
I feel that even in the factory setting at General Motors. I feel that my white coworkers, they be uneasy around me, especially because I'm one of them loudmouth black people. I'm one of them proud black people. I pull up in all types of different nice cars, and I'm taking full advantage of this opportunity working at General Motors. And a lot of my coworkers, I know they look at me like, and there's way more white people at my plant than black. So like this happens in every type of job you're gonna see. More white people than black people. So, but they mad that I'm even in there, right? So this whole, if any one of us got a good job, they look at that as we taking some white person, some sorry, because believe it or not, the majority of my white coworkers, man, I mean, I love them. They my brothers and sisters on the job. You know, we in a union. But a lot of them, they hate their job. They hate their job, boy. They complain every day. Every day. So I really be looking at them like, man, my brothers and sisters could use these jobs. Y'all don't even appreciate them. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy how they look at us like we taking their jobs, but they don't even be grateful for their jobs. They come to work and don't want to work. They come to work and do not want to do no damn work. They get paid a lot of money to sit around and gossip and be on the phone and hate to do anything. That's the crazy part about it. They come to work, man, these racist white, even non-racist white people, come to work and be lazy, don't want to do nothing, complain, kiss up on the supervisor's ass all day, and just sit there. While people like me, I want to work because I want to earn my money. I don't want to come to work and not work. So I come to work and take advantage of it and live good outside of there. A lot of them, they living in shambles, lives be in shambles. Don't appreciate their job in there or out of there. I mean, lives be in shambles, like living like dogs, a lot of them. Not taking advantage, getting paid a lot of money, but don't do nothing with it. Blow it on all types of crazy stuff. So that's what I see on my job with my white coworkers. You know, a lot of them racist. You know, they don't appreciate it. Let Phil finish. We're gonna let Phil finish.
You don't even qualify for a lot of these jobs because you're not educated. You don't have the experience. You get in on color and not by merit.
Exactly.
Because that's what it is. You get in by color, not by merit. And what's happening in society, more and more black people are educated, experienced, because you guys have forced us to be 10 times better than you.
Oh, and by the way, I have a degree in software. So I'm educated. But, you know, I ain't gonna lie, that job for Flint, Michigan is a lot of money. You know, the cost of living here is real low. So you can live pretty good with a General Motors job in Flint, Michigan. So, you know, but I'm still using my degree in software. I'm doing it now. Like, this is an example of me using my, my education. I'm just using it outside of a traditional workplace. So I started businesses with my education from knowing software. So I'm using it as we speak.
Not because we wanted to be, because you forced it.
Exactly.
You made us be better than you on merit.
Yep.
And because you can't compete, and as your decline is happening very rapidly, and you can't compete not only with black people, but you can't compete with Asians, you can't compete with Hispanics, you can't compete with Arabs,
Africans.
You just can't compete. So what you're doing is whining, like you always do, whine constantly because you can't compete, and you say, sabotage people and give me back that position because you could not get it on merit alone.
Exactly.
Like you claim you want a merit-based society. I'm cool with merit-based society. I'm very cool with that. But you have never attained anything through any kind of merit.
Sure haven't.
Whatsoever. Matter of fact, you don't even want to see your woman have a job.
Never.
Technically, the way a lot of you think, that woman on the screen took a job from a white man.
Yep.
But how a lot of you think, okay? But this also why, ladies and gentlemen,
they don't even like
why
her.
We as black people don't have this sympathy for the white woman. Because the white woman, as you can see, will assist her men
exactly
in maintaining white supremacy.
Mm-hmm.
So both of them are guilty because they'll come to us and like, we are oppressed too. Look what they do to us. Nah,
right. That's why we can't join in with the white racist woman, because she raising these white racist men. She's the one that supports him and put that ideology in his head as he a kid. She raising him to be like that. Yeah. So we nah. We ain't nope. We ain't with y'all. Y'all not on our side. Y'all not y'all not marginalized. Y'all actually support and cultivate the hate of these racist white men and this system that's in place.
It's that you assist.
Mm-hmm.
You have no problem assisting your men.
Sure don't.
In continuing a system that has oppressed everybody outside of you. And then when you get a little oppression, it's a problem? No. If that system was good enough to oppress the women in my community, black men, and anybody else's people, then it's good enough for you. You just mad that you're not getting your piece of the pie.
Exactly.
See, the issue with they women is, it's like somebody robbing a bank. They stole $1 million. Well, what the white man do, he take 900,000 and give her 100,000. She mad because she don't get an equal part. She don't get 500,000. He get 500,000. That's really the issue they have in white supremacy. When you hear the white woman complaining about, oh, they do me this, they do me that, it's because he's taking the majority of the pie. If she would get her equal share, she wouldn't say nothing.
Exactly.
She has participated in slavery. She's owned slaves.
Mm-hmm.
You can read the book. They were her property. She has participated in causing riots and mob violence against black people.
Yep.
Went along with lying. She has her place in this society that she rears, that she birthed and rears white supremacy. So that's why I don't get into, well, you know, they doing it to them. No. They participate. Mm-hmm. They participate, and they have been participating from day one, and they're still participating now.
Yep.
That's what you can't tell. You can't tell me much because I read. Okay, when you read and you study to show yourself approved, it's not a whole lot you're gonna tell people. Trust me. Read more. Read. Listen more. That's why you have 2 ears, 2 eyes. That means you need to be looking and reading more, listening more, but being slower to speak. You know you only got 1 mouth. You only got 1. That means listen more, read more, take in more. That's how you learn. So when you do speak, it makes sense, right? All right, let's continue, ladies and gentlemen. Let's continue with this lady here.
Based on your race or sex, you may have a claim to recover money under federal civil rights laws. Contact the EEOC as soon as possible. Time limits are typically strict for filing a claim.
How come black men aren't being encouraged to go in and try to get claims? Because every one of us can you know, go get something. I laugh about, I thought about him, Charleston White. I thought he was funny when he said something about he only get a job to go sue because they're going to do something discriminatory, and he going to go to that same agency and sue and get paid. Yeah, you can get paid. Sure, you can. Now, with this administration, good luck. But technically, you can get paid. They do handle workplace discrimination. They do. Okay, but that's interesting. Let's continue.
The EEOC is the federal agency charged with enforcing federal anti-discrimination law against businesses and other private sector employers.
So they're using their new plan is, y'all. This been a new plan, and I noticed this when that lady Harmeet Dillian got in there. She's over the Civil Rights Division of the DOJ. Okay, I knew it was Kristen Clark last time we know when Biden was in office. And this woman was saying that, oh, you know, I'm going to file cases on all these companies that do DEI and all white men are being discriminated against. I'm like, and I'm looking at this woman, I'm like, you're a whole Indian. Okay. I think she's Indian, Pakistani. I think she's Indian though. And you're sitting here talking about them. What about you're not even talking about the men in your own community who was discriminated against. You're talking about them. You have to understand, like, I don't understand immigrants. I really don't. Because if you look at India, they were colonized by the British for a very long time. They were colonized. So you would think they would kind of be like, man, I ain't cut for them people. I ain't cut for them people at all. They colonized my people. They got my people screwed up with this caste system. Because that's where the caste system come from. It comes from basic colorism. Mm-hmm. And so you don't understand, boy. You don't understand. Like, go back to the video I interviewed. What's her name, Shweta, about the colorism in India.
Yeah, and I got a little history on how that even developed in the first place. So, the very first migration out of Africa was to parts of southern India and Australia. It was like 80,000 years ago. Now, the very last migration, a lot of the northern Indian people, along with the whites, along with the Asians, they all end up going to India at that time, which was about 20,000 some years ago. So you had ancient Indians who were there, the dark Indians who were there first in the south, and the lighter ones who were in the north. And that caste system, like what Phil just said, was created when the English started colonizing them. They were pretty much intermingling, like pretty much interbred. They were they had a distinct group of them, but they were, intermingling pretty often until the English arrived and created, and then a caste system came. And that's how in India they have something even probably more worse than the colorism here in America. And so that's pretty much how that is today. And so when they're over here, we're dealing with a lot of the lighter ones. Even the darker ones want to be light. So they act just like the Uncle Tom Negroes in the black community, ones that hate black people. Those type of Indians, even if they dark, they have that mentality, right? So that's what we see with the Indian people. Yeah, they worse than any Uncle Tom boot-licking black raccoon Negro ever will be towards their own people.
And what she went through as a dark-skinned Indian woman, right? Go look at look at that video. That comes from everywhere them people been. They cause a mental problem on the people they colonized.
Yep.
In the African continent, they still dealing with those same issues. Why in the Caribbean, when you talk about cake, soap, and bleaching their skin, that comes from every country or so that they had colonized. When you go to places like Ethiopia, you don't see people walking around there talking about fair and lovely. They don't be putting that bleaching cream on themselves in places like Ethiopia. Why? Because they were never colonized. So they didn't have to deal with that mess.
Right.
And that's great for them. You understand what I'm saying? But it's a sick mentality. Go to Latin America. Everywhere them people been, they have left the stain of colorism, and they literally prop up the lighter skin. It's the dumbest thing ever, a skin color. A skin color don't make nobody good or bad. It don't. A skin color is just what it is. It's a skin color. I mean, it's just a spectrum of color. Don't make you good or bad. But you let a group of people who don't share in the great spectrum of color tell you, the people that have the great spectrum of color, something wrong with you. But the people that have no color like you, how are they better? That doesn't make.
Well, I'm gonna say this. Let me add this to what Phil's saying. Like it's no better or worse, but without the dark skinned people, it wouldn't be no people. So, you know what I'm saying? So it's not like we comparing, but in the grand scheme of things, we're like we're the base, we're the foundation, we're the first, we're the original. So without dark skin, you don't get no skin. It's nobody without us. So Yeah, like life come from us. So life itself, to be another race come from us. So that's what we have to. This is why I started this channel, to share that perspective, and we got to be able to start saying this. All of us have to be able to start verbally saying this. Without black people, there would be no people. So we are the closest thing to God, to all humanity. Yeah, let's stop sugarcoating it.
Makes sense. That's like the greatest mind screw ever, that they will be able to tell y'all this and y'all actually believe it. I'm talking about worldwide, y'all believe the mess. Instead of saying, no, the people with the richest color, the darkest skin, is the people that you want to see. Look at science. The more melanin you have, the better. Science says it.
There you go.
These people aren't people of science. Science say the darker you are, you have slower aging. You look at your cell structure. You can look at a whole lot of things with you having more melanin. That's why these people put on the fake tans and all of that to try to get some fake melanin to try to help them out. But it's not in their DNA to absorb the sun like that. But some of you will sit up here, and actually some of you worldwide that could be watching, because those of you in other countries are watching, some of you will sit here, you have beautiful dark skin, beautiful, and you will put some chemicals on your skin to lighten your skin for what? When you lighten your skin, you won't win a prize. Some of you say, well, when I lightened my skin, they was respecting me more. What kind of people are respecting you more? Why do you need to put chemicals on your skin to get respect? If I gotta go put chemicals on my skin to get respect, to hell with them people. They weren't supposed to be in my life anyway. If you can't respect me in the color I am now, then the hell with you. I don't need to talk to you. I don't need to be bothered with you. If you don't like my nose, you don't like my hair, I don't care, because I don't lose sleep at night not knowing none of you.
I swear, bro.
I see very well.
Real talk.
And the beauty of getting this gray hair in my beard is you get more clarity of life. And you start realizing, man, I don't care about them people. I don't care what they say about my clothes, my car. I don't care what they say about my dog. I don't care about anything. Because in the grand scheme of things, don't even make sense to worry about people like that.
Don't.
Because people are not going to like you.
Sleep good at night.
For no matter what you do, people don't like you. And then they got people that like you no matter what you do too. So I focus more on the people that like me, not the people that don't. And surely you don't change yourself. You got women out here getting dangerous surgeries, changing themselves, thinking they can get a man or whatever the case may be, and then they find out that even with them dangerous surgeries, they still won't get no man. It's because it's not about a surgery. It's about what radiates that come from within.
Within, exactly. And that's what I was, right before I paused, I was about to say. Yeah, if you don't change nothing within, you ain't changed nothing. So yeah, all of that surgeries, getting a BBL and all of that, man, that don't help within. If you haven't changed nothing within, just like going on trips. This is how I view going on trips. If you haven't taken that trip within, you ain't went nowhere. If you haven't explored yourself, you might as well don't explore nothing else. Like all of that colonization, they went all around the world. They might as well just stayed in Europe and figured out who they were instead of going all around the world. It was for nothing. You know what I'm saying? It was for nothing. You don't know who you are. And that's yeah, let's continue with Phil.
It comes from within to outside. There's so many people have died on a surgeon table for nothing. Leaving their children here without a mother. I've seen this too many times. It's dangerous.
Wow.
And then you hear men say, women ain't got to do all that. Like, I ain't telling you to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Shoot.
If people can't accept you for who you are, then to hell with them. So I always want to put that message out there.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and continue, ladies and gentlemen.
Good stuff,
DOC
Phil.
is committed to identifying, attacking, and eliminating all forms of race and sex discrimination, including against white male
She don't even
applicants and
believe what
employees.
she's saying.
Now, so the 1964 Civil Rights Act, if we go in that time period, white men wasn't being discriminated against. There have been no Civil Rights Act of any form for white people. There have been no Voting Rights Act that was needed to make sure white people can vote. The 13th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution didn't free white people from plantations. The 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution did not give white people birthright citizenship because they was already citizens. The 15th Amendment didn't give white men the right to vote, but it gave black men the right to vote. Then the 19th Amendment later gave women the right to vote, that include black women. Okay? White men didn't need not a single amendment of the Constitution for anything. Didn't need a Civil Rights Act, a Voting Rights Act, didn't need anything. So how are they discriminated against when they never even need laws on the books so they can exist as human beings? Exactly. White men have never needed affirmative action. How did affirmative action even come up? Because they the main people that demonize it. Them who are controlling all the jobs, a black person will go put in an application and they would put a black stamp on it, or when they leave it, tear the application and throw in the trash. Black people cannot get jobs. Affirmative action came and say, hey, wait a minute. Black people need to get a job. You cannot discriminate. You got to give, you got to give black people some jobs now. It don't look right that we got all these black folks all over the place and none of them got jobs, but all y'all got jobs? Like, come on now. We got to be equal in this society. And then Johnson later did the great finesse to affirmative action, saying, well, women could be added, and women backdoored white women into all of our gains. That was none of that should have said women. It should have just said black Americans. Because we're the only ones historically that went through slavery, Jim Crow, segregation, the sharecropping, the convict leasing. No quote unquote white women been through none of it.
Right. And a lot of what this lady trying to address is what Phil just saying. All the white women went to work. You know why? Because all of their men was mistreating them and dogging them out. So they went to work. And that's where a lot of white men today look at where things started to change for them. When they women started to get jobs. You know, their family structure started breaking down. Well, look, it's not the women who wanted to be treated right fault. Start treating them right and they won't want to leave you. You know what I'm saying? That's the root of it. But instead of fixing themselves, they want to say, oh no, it's time for white women to quit their jobs and go back home and start just making babies. See what I'm saying? Instead of fixing themselves to be worthy of a woman not wanting to leave you and just being at home, being a homemaker. They don't want to address themselves. There's no accountability. Now they want to point at all of the gains and the strides and trying to correct the foul history of this country with what Martin Luther King died for. They trying to attack that and say, you know what? It's their fault. The civil rights, it's their fault. So yeah, man. No accountability. And look, they got a white woman helping them with that. She don't want them to be accountable either. That's what Phil was just saying. They are accomplices. They are assisting them. Have always.
That's why when they say the term women, they mean white women. They don't mean black women. And no. Because even if you use the term minorities, right? They added them to minorities. They are not minorities.
Never.
They're not a minority. They are part of the majority. That's what, at least definitely at that time, they're part of the majority. So how are they a quote unquote a minority? That's why the greatest thing we ever did is get rid of those terms. Minorities,
we can't
distressed communities, urban communities.
We ain't never been no minority. We're the only. That's what we gotta change. We're the only people. Yeah, not only are we not no minority, we are the only. Yeah. We no goddamn minority. Excuse my language, y'all.
Use that to finesse so many people and grab people in. When we say, no, who you talking about? Who? What group? It's no classification of America called urban community. There's no classification called historically distressed community. No.
We're the God community. That's what we are. The God community. Man, my bad, y'all.
Who are you talking about? Who? What's their name? What community it is? We want to know. Because like Dr. King said a long time ago, you got to get the language right. Didn't Dr. King say that? You got to get the language right. Now, let's get back to the lady. We're going to go to that one sheet she was talking about too. So let's go back to that lady.
Check out eoc.gov to learn more and read our one-page explainer about DEI-related discrimination.
Okay, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Let me make sure I get back to this. Hold on, give me a second. I know I got the one sheet. Hold on.
Devil in the flesh, baby.
Is it here? Or it may be the wrong. Hold on. I got the one sheet here. Give me a second. Let me go on and put it in my other browser. I had the one sheet pulled up. I got y'all. You know, over here we read things. We don't just tell people things. We read. So you can say, you know what? If you watching us on the TV, and I know some of you are, you definitely gonna get the right stuff here. All right, hold on. Boom, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and shout out to all the people that watch us on their TV. Now, this is the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, y'all. And what to do if you experience discrimination related to DEI at work. Now, remember, DEI means diversity, equity, and inclusion at work, okay?
It's supposed to
that
be a
is
part
a
of their
curse
mission
word
statement.
to this Republican administration and all Republicans. DEI is a curse word. DEI is code word for
crazy.
We cannot dominate like we like to, so we're going to complain. Now, look, this Title 7 of the Civil Rights Act that they did not fight for, they fought against the Civil Rights Act. They bombed our churches. They shot our people. The Klan was terrorizing. J. Edgar Hoover was terrorizing. They terrorized us for a law that we got passed. We did that, okay? And then now the same law that we got passed, they want to run around here talking about they need to use the Civil Rights Act like they were ever discriminated against in this country. Boy, y'all, crazy. I tell you, we are living in like they used to say, the Twilight Zone. Talking about prohibits employment discrimination based on protected characteristics such as race and sex, different treatment based on race, sex, and other protected.
It's so sickening that a lot of people don't want to talk about it. It's so crazy. I mean, that's why I say that what this administration doing is going to ensure that we get our reparations. Yeah, this is going to ensure. Look, this is on their website. This is documented. This is officially from the government. They can't hide. They cannot hide this. They are at work trying to use the civil rights movement against the people that it was made to protect. This shit is crazy. You can't make this shit up. Cannot make it up.
Characteristic can be unlawful discrimination. No matter which employees are harmed, Title VII's protections apply equally to all racial, ethnic, and national origin groups as well as both sexes. Well, when you talk about DEI, you know who created DEI? I want y'all to know this. Let's go back and remember. It was white corporations created diversity, equity, and inclusion. Black America didn't create DEI.
We showed
that was not nothing we pushed for. That's nothing we asked for. We talk about justice for George Floyd, not DEI. White people created DEI. Okay. And say before you can sue in federal court, you must file a charge of discrimination with the EEOC, the U.S. Equal Opportunity Employment Commission, investigates charges of discrimination and can file a lawsuit under Title VII against businesses and the private sector employers. The Department of Justice can file a lawsuit under Title VII against state and local government employers based on EEOC charge following a EEOC investigation. Now, what can DEI related discrimination look like, y'all? Let's see what it look like. According to your federal government, right? Boy, I tell you what, Republicans, you just motivating people to go vote against you. It's like y'all just keep doing things to make people, even people would say, I don't want to fool with it. But y'all just keep doing stupid things like this. It's like it's going to make people get up and go vote for the Democrats at this point. It's a diversity, equity, and inclusion is a broad term that's not defined in the statute. Under Title VII, DEI policy programs or practices may be unlawful if they involve an employer or other covered entity taking an employment action motivated in whole or in part by the employer's race, sex, and another protected characteristic. In addition to unlawfully using quotas or otherwise balancing a workforce by race or other protected traits, DEI-related discrimination in your workplace might include the following. Okay, so if you say I got 20 employees and I want to hire 5 white people, I want to hire 5 black, I want to hire 5 Asian, and I want to hire 5 Hispanic, because I see all these different people come in my business, so I want everybody represented in my business. So that's wrong. So you can have all white, and that's okay. But okay, well, it means we can do all black too, right? Disparate treatment. They say DEI-related discrimination can include an employer taking an employment action motivated in whole or part by race, sex, or another protected characteristic. Title VII bars discrimination against applicants or employees in the terms, conditions, or privileges of employment, including hiring, promotion, compensation, exclusion from training, exclusion from fellowships, firing, demotion, fringe benefits, exclusion from mentoring or sponsorship programs, selection for interviews, including placement on candidate slates. So I would tell black people this. Okay, well, you see all this here? Then black people need to start putting mass claims in, because we deal with this all the time. We're paid lower than our white counterparts. Our white counterparts are given promotions that they don't earn, they don't have the education for. We're demoted for any little thing. We fire for any little thing. What would they say? They call us first fire and last hire.
Yep.
We don't get the fringe benefits white folks get. We get excluded from training. We get excluded from fellowships.
Yep.
Right? So black people can be filing lawsuits all day long. Black people need to start doing like Charleston White said. Now they say limiting, segregating, and classifying. Title VII also prohibits employers from limiting, segregating, or classifying employees based on race, sex, or another protected characteristic in a way that affects their status or deprives them of employment opportunities. Prohibited conduct may include limiting membership in workplace groups such as employee resource groups or other employee affinity groups to certain protected groups, separating employees into groups based on race, sex, or another protected characteristic when administering DEI or other trainings or other privileges of employment, even if the separate groups receive the same programming content and it's or amount of employer resources. Who's doing that? I haven't worked a single job where people say, okay, all you blacks go over here, all you white people over here, all you Hispanics. I've never seen that. I don't know what they talking about.
What the
and
fuck
I worked for
is
white
they
folks for
talking
a very
about?
long time until I retired.
That's weird, ain't it? Look, they so weird.
Okay, from working for them. Now, harassment. It says Title VII prohibits workplace harassment, which may occur when an employee is subject to unwelcome remarks. Man, black people, don't we get that every day? Or conduct based on race, sex, or other protected characteristics. Harassment is illegal when it results to an adverse change to a term, let's say a condition or privilege of employment, or is so frequent or severe that a reasonable person would consider it intimidating, hostile, or abusive. Depending on the facts, DEI training may give rise to hostile work environment claims. So if you give a DEI training, it's hostile work environment. How is it hostile? Only to a racist. But okay. Right. Retaliation. Title VII prohibits retaliation by an employer. It says because an individual has engaged in protected activity under the statute, such as objecting to or opposing employment discrimination related to DEI, participating in employer or EEOC investigations, or filing an EEOC charge. Reasonable opposition to a DEI training may constitute protected activity if the employer provides a fact-specific basis for his or her belief that the training violates Title VII. That's who can be affected by DEI-related discrimination. Title VII protects employees, potential and actual applicants, interns, and training program participants. What should I do if I encounter discrimination related to DEI at work? If you suspect you experience DEI-related discrimination, contact the EEOC promptly, because there are strict time limits to file a charge. The EEOC office nearest you can be reached, and they give the phone number, or by ASL video phone, give that number, and they say for more information how to file a charge. So y'all, this is your federal government saying that a program that was created by white people, okay, you can get paid and they can get sued for creating basically a equal opportunity. But the crazy part is the people that want to sue you is the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. Well, wouldn't the Equal Opportunity Employment Commission celebrate jobs and companies that want to give equal opportunity employment?
I'm Andrea Lucas, chair of...
Hold on, y'all, you can't make this up. You just cannot make this stuff up. You can't. But here's the thing. I'm glad this is happening, and I want to thank Miss Andrea Lucas. I want to thank this lady. No, hear me out. Miss Lucas, thank you. Let me tell you why I'm thanking you today. Miss Lucas, your office and your boss and everybody else that you're working for is showing in real time why y'all can't be given power to run a thing, because this is what you do. See, Miss Lucas, what you don't understand is that America has changed. There's more people here that have different variations of the color spectrum than y'all. Definitely black folks. And listen, black folks aren't counted right anyway. So I definitely believe there's 50 plus million black people in this country. Some people may say between 50 and 60 million. I can believe that number because all of us aren't counted. So you trying to do, I'm gonna tell y'all this. All this what you see is an act of desperation. Hear me out. You want to be a victim now because you're desperate. You're losing and you're losing it. You understand? You are in a birth rate crisis. You don't know how to stop that. You can't compete with other men. That's the main thing, is they can't compete with other men. Because if you can truly compete, because that's the thing. If I'm quote unquote superior, let's go on that ideology. I'm superior. I'm not worried about another man on anything because I'm quote unquote superior.
Exactly.
It's like me, for instance. I'm just using myself. I don't think about I'm superior, but I just know what my expertise in.
Right.
I know what I'm good at, what I'm not good in. I don't worry about other content creators and what they're doing.
Right.
I don't worry about them. Not to say I'm better than them. They got people that's way better than me. But I'm not worried about them because nobody think like me. Nobody is going in the direction I'm going. I'm doing about 10 things that other people's not even doing. I got in my lab. I'm already working on and bringing to fruition already.
Right.
I'm always got something going on that they don't, right? Because that's just me. That's how I get down. So I'm not worried about other people like that. I'm not worried about that. I'm not.
Real talk.
I don't even know what other people do sometimes because I'm so busy doing what I got to do.
Exactly.
So I don't feel inferior or threatened. I don't need nobody to be sabotaged.
Exactly.
So I can get ahead or whatever the case may be. I don't need that. And this is more government handouts. See, because this.
Exactly.
You're learning that they have no problem with government handouts.
Exactly.
As long as they getting it.
Exactly.
They have no problem
There
with
you
food
go,
stamps.
Phil.
As long as they getting
As long
it.
as they getting it.
And you say cash payment reparations, and they got a problem with that.
Yep.
But the government can tell them, well, come file a claim, so come file a case.
Exactly. Yep.
So you can get some money.
Right. That's reparations.
Because the companies may settle out of court with the government, and you can get paid.
Right.
They're going to pay you.
They got a problem with us getting it.
With this lady saying this, you know what it should happen? It should be a mass influx of black Americans filing cases about your job. It should be a mass influx. Thank you.
I'm about to do it.
Magneta 17. Thank you very much for the love offering. We greatly appreciate you. Thank you. It should be a mass influx of black Americans filing. Everything that one sheet said, black Americans have dealt with on their jobs.
Yeah.
We need to be filing with her office and say, hey, you call white men, but everything you said on that one sheet, I deal with that daily on my job. So yeah, let me go ahead and file a case with your office. And you know what? You don't pay for it. So you don't have to worry about, well, I ain't got no money to pay. No. It's free. It's free. You can go down there and file a case. And black people, matter of fact, black people don't use that office enough. Because if you were truly utilizing that office, they probably would shut that department down,
Yeah,
the
they
government.
wouldn't be
And we were
promoting it.
actually utilizing that office because we deal with discrimination every day. We deal with harassment every day. There's trainings and different people we don't want to work with or forced to work with that we know good well that person's racist. And we still got to work with them. Well, if a DEI training is considered a hostile work environment, well, then I shouldn't have to work with a supervisor that I know is a racist or say racial things. Or racial jokes, right? That's a hostile work environment.
It is.
Remember, DEI training is considered a hostile work environment. A training to say, well, we need to work together as all groups of people. You know, it don't matter about people's gender, people's religion, race, sexual orientation, you know, whether they are have a disability, right? We need to learn how to work with everybody. So that's offensive. All that
offensive.
training is offensive.
Yeah.
So if that's offensive, then I shouldn't have to.
That's why they want a bunch of workplace violence and school violence. They want to keep that. That's what they promote. They promote all of this crazy shootings. Yeah, they want to keep that going on. What they had put in place was trying to address that. But no, they want to keep that going because they the living devil. They the devil in the flesh.
To work with this guy over here that's sitting up here with a Confederate flag on his truck, then that's a hostile work environment.
It is.
Right? So maybe I need to go file a case. Or you know what? I haven't seen no black people get any kind of supervisor role. It's all white. Maybe I need to go file a case because clearly they don't promote black people. Every time I look up a black person get on, they get fired real quick. Maybe I need to go file a case because they mentioned firing. If a black person do get a promotion, they get demoted real quick for any little thing. But the white ones could do all kind of things, and nothing happen to them.
All the
because
time.
of demotions, maybe I should go file a case. And this is what the government said that we should be doing as black Americans. We should be filing cases.
I swear.
They couldn't keep up with the many cases that we got going on. We just don't file.
Yep, we don't. We take it on the chin and keep going.
I don't care, Willie, what she said. I'm going off what the law say. It's not what she said. It's what the law say. The law say that on the one sheet that she said anybody. She calling for white men, but it say anybody. That includes black Americans. Aren't you American? Maybe you're not, but if you're a black American and you work for these folks, you need to be utilizing the law. It's just that simple. Who cares what she say? The hell what she say? The law is the law. And the white men want to go file, that's on their business. I don't care. I want to see how many times they will get paid, though. That's the interesting part. But no, black people need to go file cases. That's all. That's all. That's what I said. I appreciate her putting this out here because now we having this discussion today. There's so many of y'all have dealt with discrimination at work. File a case. Not every company has a union, so that's the good thing that you have. Equal, you know. Oh Lord, I always go blank with that sometimes. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. That's good that you have that. So file a case. Don't just cry about it. Cause I'm a firm believer. Like, okay, we see a problem, we identify a problem. What's the solution? That's how I operate in my personal life.
Yep,
see a problem, identify it. What's the solution?
What's the solution?
Because crying about a problem all day doesn't solve it.
Yep.
Because some of us like to cry.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, this
Some of
happened,
us
that
do, yeah.
happened. Like, look, bro, I'm a grown man. I'm not about to sit up here and cry all the time. Now, I give women grace with that, but definitely as a man,
Right.
black man,
What is you doing
we don't supposed to be
crying?
crying all the time. We can be mad about it. We can be whatever, but we see a problem, we identify it, then we go bring a solution to the problem. Because if you don't bring a solution to anything as a doggone man, then you're not a man, period. Because
All right, y'all. 15 more minutes left in that video, and I'm not about to go all the way, but I'm going to add the link to this video in the description so y'all can, go check out Phil on the African Diaspora channel over there. And like, comment, share, subscribe, and get into his comments. He always got a bunch of action in his comment section. And yeah, go over there and tap in with Phil. But I want to add a little bit more to what Phil was saying, just on that note of this reverse reparations and reverse discrimination, all this reverse shit. It's sickening because this whole reverse stuff, man, it's so weird to me because not only do they not want to be accountable for the original discrimination or the original reparations that's owed, they want to focus on the reverse, on when they think they being mistreated. When we speaking up, when we vocal, when we fighting to equal the playing field, now they calling it discrimination. Now they calling it now they want some reparations, some reverse reparations. Excuse me. That's what this EEOC lady is basically saying. She actually promoting reverse reparations. That's why I put that in the title, in the thumbnail. So yeah, it's but this don't surprise none of us. You know what I mean? We dealing with the living devil. The living devil. Like, not, I'm not saying all white people are devil or evil, but the majority of them that follow white supremacy, it's that spirit of white supremacy that is the devil. So yeah, man. It's no surprise if you are in tune and know what's going on and been paying attention to what's going on, especially since this Trump administration been in here, then you know what's at hand. That's why we're not out here protesting. They're gonna try to pull the military out of it. It's bad enough that we got to deal with the police, but we go out there now. They got tanks and soldiers out here. You know what I mean? They trying to rip us apart. You know what I mean? That's what we're dealing with. And that, like I said, this whole weaponizing of the government that this administration is doing, it's directly aimed at us. Directly trying to rip away everything that our ancestors did, especially the civil rights. Trying to rip it all away. Actually turn it against itself. To turn the civil rights against itself is to basically say, like, use Martin Luther King and everything he sacrificed against the people that he was trying to help. And that's what we're dealing with right now with this evil, wicked man and that spirit that's within him at the helm of this government right now. This is the living, he is the embodiment of the living, walking devil in the flesh. And all his minions are the extensions of him. That's Stephen Miller, the Project 2025, the Heritage Foundation, all of them that wrote that manifesto, that wicked thing to try to dismantle our upward mobility, to try to put the death nail in us after all of what we then went through. Now they trying to put the death nail, but guess what? This melanin, you can't take it. God created this. That's why I said we people made in God's image. We can't be stopped. We was here. We just like the earth and the ground. That's what we represent. That's why this skin color is the same color as that dang on soil. We represent that. We God in the flesh. Look here, man. I'm gone. If y'all like any of my content, like, comment, share, subscribe, get in the comments. I want to know how y'all feel about this wicked devil in the flesh lady at the EEOC office. And yeah, we're going to be all right. We was here before and we're going to be here after. Trust me. We're God. I'm gone, y'all. Speaks Live. Welcome back to another one. Tell the truth here. Don't care if it make them uncomfortable. It ain't our fault. Yo, but Marlon Speaks Live. Yeah, I'm saying what they hide. History uncensored, let the real survive. Yeah, it's truth over comfort, I don't pick no side. If it shake the room a little, let the truth collide. Cause it's Marlon Speaks Live. No script, no disguise. I don't sell no lies, just to monetize. Cause the past still breathing and it never dies. Yeah, it's Marlon Speaks Live. Now the truth will rise. Yo, it's Marlon Speaks Live. Yeah, I'm saying what they hide. History uncensored, let the real survive.